Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out. Instagram, Facebook, Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, The Real Best Damn, and wherever you're watching from, make sure to hit that like, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link. Help me to get it out there. That way new people can find me. Tonight, this is going to be a fucking an interesting one, to say the least. We're going to be talking about sex. Tonight is Seduced by the Serpent. We're going to be looking at the occult connections to reproduction and to sexual energy. I was just actually, and let me just say too, wherever you're watching from, make sure check out in the description box. You can donate, support PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay. You can book your own personal tarot reading, or follow us on any other platforms. All the information in the description box down below. I was just talking about sex with somebody just a few minutes ago. That's why I was late. And how we have these energetic ties and connections to people that we sleep with. That our energy, that our consciousness is so profound. So profound. That when we make that intimate connection with somebody, we have a commingling, if you will, of our spiritual selves. And that we have to be careful, right? Who we allow in our aura, who we allow in our life, and who we allow ourselves to connect to, because some people will take you for a ride. Some people, they connect only for the reason purely to drain you of your energy. You hear of karmic connections and soul ties and twin flames and all of this stuff, especially if you watch tarot readings, or any of you guys are into the New Age movement whatsoever. Matter of fact, these terms get thrown around quite loosely, don't they? Even at one point in my own awakening, I thought, well, I finally ascended now, so I can finally meet my twin flame. I can finally meet my soulmate once I hit this certain point consciously. Not understanding that it's our higher self, it's our very own soul that is our soulmate. But nonetheless, we see sex being used in spiritual ways, all over the world. Not only does it have this extreme magnetic attraction to it, and you hear the saying, sex sells, right? You look in advertising, television, it doesn't matter, right? Sex is a weapon, especially in the war of consumerism. People use sex to get what they want. People are trafficked, and by the power of sex, people are extorted. People are framed, set up, put in positions that are unbecoming. They say that when people join these secret societies, and you can decide whether or not it's true or not, that a lot of what they'll do when recruiting them is have them sleep with children or underage people, or doing very explicit sexual acts. Whether if they're straight, then they'll have them doing something homosexual. If they're older, they'll have them sleeping with a younger kid or whatever, and they'll videotape this. This will be part of their initiation, having them challenge their norms, their concept of right and wrong, to prove their allegiance to the cult or to the group that they're joining into. And by doing so, they then can use the footage of them raping, molesting, doing terrible things sexually, living out their fetishes and fantasies sexually, to get them to capitulate and If they're senators, they'll pass laws. If they're the heads of corporations, they'll donate money, whatever it is. And this is how they compromise a lot of the world's most powerful people when they join these cults, through the initiation, you know. And that's how they test your allegiance, your loyalty, by what you will or you won't do. You know, it's like they know if you're willing to harm another person for them, you're willing to kill another person for them, you're willing to rape another person for them, that, you know, you're going to hold on to the secrets because you have a vested interest, because you yourself have done crimes as well. They want to make sure you have blood on your hands and that you get your hands dirty too. We also know that many schools of thought and spiritual communities too talk about, you know, things like Tantra, right? Different forms of sexual magic, where sexual energy is used for the power of manifestation and attraction. Which we know, looking at the sacred sciences, the masculine and feminine is something very sacred. It's powerful. When masculine and feminine actually come together, the two genders, it has the power to create life. It is the power of creation. And I've talked about this before, like in sexual magic, sex rituals. After there has been consummation, physical fornication, the air itself, the ethers itself is charged with that energy of life and death, with that energy of life, the power of creation. And that's when, the invocation is spoken, is when the air is charged with that. And you'll see a lot too when it comes to the elites. Maria Abramovich and her cake and all that shit that she makes for the celebrities with period blood and semen. The reason they use that, very obviously, right? Because of the reproductive power, those particular fluids. When we have sex, when we reach orgasm, we give off an inordinate amount of energy. It's like a major cosmic release. Right? We shift into our own, it's a different and unique vibratory state during the act, especially at that euphoric release. And we give off more energy in that act of release than at any other point in our life. I feel like I read somewhere that the only time we give off as much energy as we do during orgasm is in death. So that's why you see, a lot of the people that do practice sex magic also will fuck with torture and shit like that as well. Because that pain is also a big energetic release. Right? Energetic release. Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys too. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. I'm sorry I'm late. Tonight is going to be a good one. If you have not checked out the tarot videos and all that, give them a look, guys. If you haven't checked out our other videos, give it a look. We are at a time right now where people are just gone. They're fucking gone. Yeah, they're oblivious, guys. They're oblivious to the things that are taking place around us. And, this information that we're going to talk about tonight, this is for you. This is for your own use. This is to protect you. Don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the pit. Make sure you're preserving your sexual energy and you're using it for things that are going to, that's going to bring happiness into your life. And, you're not being extorted by others, or not being connected to people you don't want to be connected to. We'll start here. Sexual patterns. Creepy Elvis later to share. Yeah, and if you're on Facebook, one of the Facebook channels, make sure to comment and follow and all that good shit. If you're on one of the YouTube channels, subscribe and hit that like. And if you're over on Twitter, please, retweet and like and all that good stuff. And it's a little late one, but fuck it, we'll do it anyways. Here we go. On and off line, sex is always attracts people's interest. When we talk about it, we often laugh, share experiences, or cry over lost lovers. Sex is part of our experience as physical beings. Sex can be enlightening, fun, painful, and more. You should not have sex with anyone unless you feel comfortable with that partner. You won't have good sex if you're not ready and comfortable. The energies of sex, combined with the heightened frequencies of love and romance, can bring us to great heights as its passions motivate us in the arts, music, writing, and all areas of our life. And I actually mentioned this the other day. There's a book by Napoleon Hill, but he was talking about basically how males are driven by their sexual desire for the female to high states of consciousness. That behind every great man throughout history, there was a woman that was equal energetically to him, right? A woman that was able to push that male forward, and it was his desire for her sexually that drove him to greatness, that drove him to high altered states of consciousness, trying to keep her satisfied, basically. It's like that prize of having, her energy. Her energy would be so powerful. And some female, because they have the power of life and death, they can carry life within their wombs, that their energy is so powerful that it will drive a male to great heights, great achievements, just to maintain that energetic connection. It says that the energies of sex, combined with heightened frequencies of love and romance, can bring us to great heights as its passion motivates us in the arts, music, writing, and all areas of our life. Sex and how we deal with it varies throughout our lives and with the partners we meet. The sexual patterns one follows are general, instinctual, tempered by society in which they live. There are rules when in the world, but when it comes to sex, there are sometimes no rules. As we quest and conquer, this is meant in a positive way. At puberty, the hormones explode as if a time bomb. Then again, everything in our genetic makeup, which gives us our experience in 3D, including our awakening to the spiritual changes that are occurring now, are triggered as if by genetic time capsules are activating our DNA. They do not let us forget we are in a human body as we meet partners we are attracted to during our lives. Some couples play head games. What we enjoy during a sexual encounter varies with our personal and physical needs, techniques, and timing. Some couples play head games while others get right to it and meet just for sex. This is often because they know what they want and how to satisfy each other. Some couples prefer a quickie while some enjoy prolonged sex that lasts for hours. Compatibility is the key. Communication before you begin is important, although some couples just blend together as if they intuitively know what will please them. And this is just like, when you hear of like soulmates and twin flames and shit like that, when two people are energetically on the same frequency, the same pattern. You ever met that person, or sometimes you haven't even met them yet, but it's like you fucking know, you're drawn to them. And I've had a few of those in life where before I ever even met the person physically, I just fucking knew, like in the depth of my soul, like this is someone that I was extremely compatible with, and there are lots of telltale signs on, how we can, see if we're going to be energetically compatible with somebody, obviously. Like, how easy it is to communicate with a person, to express ourselves, how we feel when we communicate with the person, how we feel when we're around that person. And there's like a sense of safety, too, that's necessary, especially whenever it involves intimacy. Because that's the thing, it's not just the fact that we're physically compromising ourselves for sexual pleasure. More importantly, we're energetically compromising ourselves. We're dropping that our guard, and we're opening up our aura to another human being to where, you know, they can fucking wreak havoc on our life, you know, if we're not careful. Variety is a spice of life. Sexually, that can include a variety of partners, a variety of positions, varying the things done with the lover, exploring new options and things that turn us and our partner on. There are many variables, and the most important for most people is their satisfaction in that of their partner. Sexuality can be great with one partner or multiple partners. Group sex, as long as it's what everyone wants. Never get forced into a sexual situation that makes you uncomfortable, yet you are doing it to please your partner. And you know what? That's a lot of times we do see that people get pushed into positions that they're uncomfortable with energetically, and that's just, you know, this is any relationship, any energetic exchange, you know, always make sure that you're getting what you want out of the deal, and don't allow somebody to be overbearing and control who and how you're giving your energy out to others. How often should one have sex? How long should sex last? This varies with each person and partner. A couple can have a quickie if busy, then spend hours having sex as time permits. In our busy world, there is often not enough and time and energy for lots of sex. Sex with only one partner in a lifetime is no longer than normal. Again, this varies within cultures. We change our partners as we change and grow in our time in the physical. Many straight people turn gay. Many couples enjoy romantic sex that opens the heart, great ambiance, music, lighting, dancing, whatever and wherever the moment takes them. And you know what? A lot of people do kind of connect our sexual partners or our partners to our growth spiritually as well. If you ever notice, like when you're in relationships, certain relationships will resemble particular cycles in your life. You'll keep meeting the same kind of person till you learn, specific lessons in life and overcome them, or till you learn self-love and not allow certain things to be done to you, not allow yourself to be treated certain ways. One of the things I used to do, terribly was I'd overgive to situations, and I'd get presented with a situation time and time again where I would be in that circumstance, in a position to overgive. And it wasn't until I learned how to pull back, that and learn from that particular thing, that I grew out of it and, evolved, got to a higher level. And it's like new level, new devil. So each time that we do grow, and we outgrow certain types of partners, there's new challenges that are presented to us. It's like if you've ever been in nothing but toxic relationships, it's a challenge to be in something healthy. Like I've experienced that too, where I've had so much unhealthy. When I finally got in something healthy, I didn't even know how to fucking act. I didn't even know how to behave. I was self-sabotaging the fuck out of myself because I didn't feel like I deserved it. And it's like it's each experience that we go through, that we have to learn, what works for us and what doesn't. Well, and you know what? One of the things I think is really, a lot of people sometimes are afraid to let go of partners too. They're afraid to move forward, especially if, in codependent situations or relationships, a lot of people will sacrifice their own happiness, sacrifice their own self for the, the well-being of someone else. We've all been in that position, or a lot of us have, where we're not happy, but we'll forego our own happiness to make sure someone else is happy, or we'll wait around for someone till they decide that we're worth it or we're valuable enough. How many different unhealthy situations, have you been in? You watching at home. How many times have you allowed someone to breadcrumb you? You know, to only give a little bit here and there, enough to keep you around. How many times have, you had people that really didn't appreciate you and all that you do, and you felt undervalued? So you try harder to try to make up for the fact that you felt undervalued. And all it did was make you feel even more underappreciated. How many of us have been with people that had no problem letting us go, but yet we still hung on to them, hoping one day they would see our value, or hoping one day they would come back, or hoping one day, right? It's like we do a lot of terrible things to ourselves in the name of love. And I hate to say it, but that's one of the most ways that we can be abused, is through love. There's such a strong, powerful, energetic exchange when we have sex with somebody. That's why sex magic is so potent. Those astral ties are strong. They are strong. I'm telling you, I have had people I've waited months for, loved them dearly, dearly, who couldn't give a fuck less if I was alive or dead. Don't call to check on me, didn't text to see if I was okay, nothing. Right? And I'm sitting around pining over the person, like, hoping they're good, hoping they're alright, hoping they're, it's like we do crazy things to ourselves in the name of love. But it's like, that's why it's so important that we love ourselves. Because once you learn how to love yourself, you won't do those kind of things. You won't allow yourself to be abused by other people. Because you also love you. You also respect you. And that's whenever I'm talking about making yourself the center point of attraction, the focus of the attraction in your life, to allow those things to come to you. That's what I mean. It's like, when you really love yourself and respect yourself, you're not going to let somebody undervalue you or devalue you. You're not going to let somebody that don't give a fuck about you enough to check on you, to call you, to text you, to come by or whatever, then fuck them. That's going to be a very clear sign to you, right, of how they actually feel about you. Actions are going to start to speak louder than people's words, or what you hope people are. You're going to see things for how they actually are, as opposed to what you want them to be. And a lot of times we fall in love with the idea of somebody more than we actually fall in love with the person. And I've been guilty of that too. Just because I wanted stability, or I wanted something solid. I fell in love with the idea, and the actual person could have cared less about me probably. But it was that idea that kept the love alive in my heart, kept the love alive in my life. Ideas are powerful. Now, our aura, our auric field, you guys can see here. The emanation visualized in an outline of cascading color may be held to represent soul vibrations, chakra emergence, or reflection of surrounding energy fields. You can actually see when a person has had sex based on their auric field. I'm going to show you like a few of the pictures here. See the different auras, right? This is what we're actually connecting whenever we sleep with someone. We allow them passage into our aura. Our aura is our electromagnetic field that protects our soul essence. When you create an astral tie with somebody, you're letting them get in here. Right? You're giving them direct access to you. That's why two become one, right? Two flesh become one when male and female, have sex. That's why it's such a sacred act. Because it's literally the commingling of our energy, the commingling of our souls. We don't see it like that. We've demystified the fuck out of sex. I mean, we've even made it, very, very commonplace. It's like it's nothing. It's not a big deal at all. You can fuck somebody and not think about it, not even think twice, not even blink at it. It's, But in truth, though, you're making a very, very deep emotional and energetic connection with a person, a spiritual connection every time. When two people have just been lovers, they will show up in each other's auras. The color of their auras depending on the nature of their relationship. When people have done healing work together or shared physical contact, they will have a common auric field at that time as they have merged their electromagnetic energies. Just think about that. Like if you've actually done healing work with someone and you've tried to work through problems and you're a cohesive partnership, you'll literally share the same auric field. It's powerful, you know. Your aura and theirs will vibe together in such a way to where it's damn near, you know, you almost can't tell the difference when you're looking at it, you know, in a picture. Which is wild, honestly. Many psychics can see auras with the naked eye. I have seen an aura once. Focus training may improve one's ability to see auras. To practice seeing auras, have the subject stand in front of a white background and look to the side of their body. Either side is fine. Daylight is often the best light as the sun's rays are full spectrum. And if you watch the person for a minute, you will see their electromagnetic energies as a sort of wavy line of energies. This looks a lot like the energy you see when you're watching an airplane taking off in a movie. Please do not strain your eyes. Relax. You might want to let your eyes go a little out of focus when you're looking for an aura. You may see the aura for a few seconds and it will disappear. After you see that energy, you may also see or sense a color frequency, maybe 2 or 3 colors in the aura. After several minutes, you should be able to see some sort of energy field around that person, even if you cannot determine the color. Remember that auras change all the time according to the person's mood and environment. As with all psychic tools, learning to read auras seems easy for some people while others need lots of practice. The color of your aura is determined by your emotions, physical surroundings, spiritual work you're doing, items in the room such as crystals which can magnify or change the color of any aura, and anything that can affect an electromagnetic field can affect a change in one's aura. And I even know someone, you know, once upon a time that I was with that would use crystals whenever we were having issues to like balance and even out energy. She was a really cool chick. Pretty smart, pretty in tune. But I've known people to do that, you know, walk around with crystals in their goddamn pocket because, you know, their man is like having fucking stress or something, you know, and those particular crystals will suck in that negativity or whatever, or she'll take it on herself whenever you have sex, and then she's putting it into the crystals, you know. If you got a bitch that does some shit for you like that, bro, you better hang on to her. I'm just saying. She won't take your bad energy and put it in a crystal. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, the color of your aura is determined by your emotions, physical surroundings, etc., etc. As everything that is in our reality is created from electromagnetic energy, everything has an aura. Plants, animals, etc. When you're working as a healer, you are bringing balance to the person's electromagnetic field. You should observe the person slowly, then determine if they have holes in their auras. It would look as if an electromagnetic energy has suddenly stopped, and that was one of the things that this girl had told me when we met. She said, "You're leaking energy." You know, I didn't understand what she was talking about at that time. I'm like, what do you mean I'm leaking energy? You know, and she was able to like read auras and see auric fields, and she said, you know, you've got attachments, you've got holes in your aura. Basically, you're connected to shit and people in your life that don't, you know, emotional trauma, traumatic experiences. You've been fragmented in certain ways and made unhealthy connections to people, and you're still feeding those connections because you haven't healed from the trauma. You know, so you're leaking energy. You know, you're still leaking shit to the past, you know, and when you're leaking energy, you're not in control of your energy, you know. You're just kind of, spraying shit everywhere. You're not really focused. If you think about something when it's like concentrated, like something with pressure behind it, like a water hose. If you just take the nozzle off the water hose, it just kind of sprays out everywhere, right? But if you put your finger on it, right, and you put pressure on that, you can streamline it, and it has power behind it. There's PSI behind that. Same thing with energy. When we're focusing energy, we can actually apply it in certain ways to really, manifest and attract things and manipulate the reality around us. But when we're just kind of all over the place, we're kind of spinning in circles. We have no direction. And if we're leaking energy to all the people we've ever been with or all the situations that have ever hurt us, that means we got a lot of shit to clean up, We're giving a lot to things that don't serve us, a lot to things that aren't even presently in our lives. We're like draining ourselves to the past, draining ourselves to shitty people that already drained us enough at one point. Well, the light works towards field. And this is going to be one of those videos, man. I feel like it's really wild when I think about it now. I do these videos on, like the deep esoteric shit. And it's like people don't want to know how it actually works. They want to know how it actually works. They want to be told bedtime stories about demons and devils and the world ending and shit like that. They want to hear how your energy actually works and how, if you're really intentional with your life, you can actually focus it and accomplish amazing fucking things. That's why we're told not to cast our pearls before swine. We do that with our sexual energy too, by the way, guys. We do that with our sexual energy. So ask yourself, why are you casting your fucking pearls before swine? I ask myself that every day. We have to be reserved on what we're giving to. We get a finite supply of spirit. Once it's over, we're dead. We age as it diminishes and depletes. We age as death begins to out-accumulate life and the karmic balance of who we are. Each bit of that life you're giving, things to, whether it's your job and your work and your children, and bit by bit it's draining that battery you call your soul. I think it'd be very wise if you knew how that works, if you knew what you were giving your soul to. Always you discuss the problem with the person first. All physical illness comes from emotions, which are creating the problem in the first place. You must find the psychological cause of the problem first to determine if a person actually wants to be healed on an emotional and soul level. If they're not ready, the healing and balancing can only last for a short time and will revert right back or manifest in another area of the body. All healing must be done on the soul level first. You can use your hands in a slow sweeping motion over the part of the aura where the energy or the chi does not appear to flow properly. As you move your hands across the person's aura, you will experience, or you should both experience, some sort of change in the energy flow. You do not touch the person, just the auric field of that person. This healing technique goes to therapeutic touch. If you would like to see your own aura, find a mirror that is in a well-lit room. Relax, look at your head or head and shoulder area. Focus on one side of your head. Soon you should be able to see the electromagnetic energies as a field of light around your head. Do you want to feel the electromagnetic energies coming from your body? Try holding the palms of your hands facing each other, about 2 inches apart. Wait a few seconds and you will feel something. If your hands are nervous and cold, that will hamper the energies. Once you begin to feel the sensation of electromagnetic energies between your palms, move them slowly to and fro and feel the movement of your aura, and you'll feel like the pull and everything. Look between your hands to see the electromagnetic energies, your aura. Try moving your palms further and further apart slowly to see how far you can go before you're no longer able to feel the pull, and you can literally feel it. It's like feel like your hands are trying to pull together, guys. Remember to check periodically by moving your hands slightly and slowly. Now try pointing your fingers towards each other to feel those energies. Again, move your fingertips to and fro, and you can repeat this with another person as well. And aura energies are linked to colors, the chakra system, musical tones, and notes, as they all resonate to the same frequency. Right? So we know, red, it's the root and all of that, right? So as we look at those different colors, that can tell us where we're actually getting it. See, here's an aura pick. See the energies of the 3 points of space on her left over her heart chakra is a color green, meaning her heart is open. The color is blue and purple are spiritual colors, right? Blue and purple, I believe violet is the crown or the third eye, right? So those are like, higher colors. Green and all that, and orange is obviously like solar plexus, and so those of you that, yeah, and these are toroidal fields. I feel like auras, that's what they are. It's like our toroidal field. Frequencies of making love. There's sex, then there's sex. Many people make love for physical satisfaction, and that works for both partners. There's intimacy, but only in the physical. As you move into higher frequency, making love becomes about connecting chakras and the body, mind, and soul during union, leading to greater connection with your higher self or twin flame. Often in the state of higher sexual bliss, you can sense the energy of your higher self or twin flame becoming part of the union. This often occurs when people of higher frequency are in love and have sex. This may not happen each time they are together, but in the right energies, it is beyond description. One or both partners and their otherworldly counterparts may or may not take place in the union. This can occur by asking spirit to embrace the energies, or it can happen spontaneously. You may be aware of the interaction and your partner may not. It all goes to their level of awareness, and I believe this is the type of sexual union most people seek. Allow yourself to be receptive and see what happens. And I will keep it real with you. I did perform a sex magic ritual years ago. With a partner. I did it on a fucking, which is like a big no-no. I did it on an eclipse. You're never supposed to do moon manifestation or anything on an eclipse. And not only did I do moon manifestation on an eclipse, I did sex magic on an eclipse. And I feel like at the time what we were trying to do was like improve our union. We were like really tight. We were a really good couple. We were actually very much in love, very in tune, connected spiritually. Considered ourselves, soulmates, twin flames, whatever. Very interesting way we met and everything. Powerful connection. And that ritual actually backfired in my motherfucking face and hers in such a way that it like ruined the connection, And in this particular ritual, it was like, the writing out, you took a ritual bath, and a lot of times within sex magic, that's what happens. You'll see like herbs or flower petals or things like that be put into the bath to cleanse yourselves. And then vows or oaths will be written down or spoken. usually written down, and then the act of consummation, whether you bless the room, bless the bed, usually a clearing takes place within the room as well. Things are said, and the act takes place, and then after the act, the air is charged with that power of creation, and that's when you speak the words, the incantation, you invoke things. And then to bind that, you'll use the sexual fluids like semen and vaginal fluid, right? Put it on the piece of paper you wrote the stuff on or whatever. And, put that under your mattress or put that in a safe place, But here's the problem. When you start messing around with shit like that with people, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, people can say I'm evil. I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I don't, or I wouldn't be telling you this. But when you're messing with shit like that, you better fucking make sure that both you and that person has the purest of intentions. Because when you connect and you create something like that, and you create some type of agreement, spiritual agreement, and you bind it with the power of creation, of life, it has a high charge to it. And it's illuminated or amplified by the moon on top of that, and everything else that goes into it, it's going to be powerful. And if somebody's cheating, somebody's lying, somebody's deceptive, somebody's intent is not true, somebody's not being honest, that is picked up by the energy. So let's hypothetically say me and you, whoever you are, decide to, do some ritual to make our lives more prosperous. We want to bring prosperity and abundance into our union. We want there to be love and passion and attraction, always in our union. We want to create longevity with that. And we just want things to be euphoric and happy. Well, let's say hypothetically we're doing that, but I'm cheating on you and you don't know it, right? Or even though I'm saying that, I actually have this hidden agenda to get back with my ex, or, whatever it is. It's like that is going to manifest in the ritual. So it's like, because I'm cheating, well, not only does our love not grow, it becomes toxic, right? And becomes hatred or hard feelings, right? Turns to chaos, conflict. Not only do we not become prosperous, but it curses our money. We start fucking losing our jobs, and right, like we can't pay the bills. Like it manifests in ugly, ugly ways because things were not, things weren't done, with pure intent. You weren't both on the same page, and that's why. Like, so many people in spiritual communities want to jump to conclusions, be like, oh, I found my soulmate, I found my person. It's like, did you though? Do you know them inside and out? You better make sure you do before you go creating pacts and unions and all of that. Before you even go sleeping with somebody, make sure you know them. Because there are so many people that once they've got a hold of you energetically, they won't let go. Or like black widows and shit like that. They'll fuck a person and then drain your entire life essence out of you. They'll drag you through the mud, and they'll do it through the same trauma-based mind control you see the government use on TIs and shit. People use those same tactics through sex. You ever fucked a narcissist? Yeah. Same thing. Except some people are professional with it. They know how to extract every bit of your energy. They know how to extract every bit of your secrets, every bit of your intentions, right, through the power of sex. I told you in the days of the ancient Egyptian kings and their dynasties, the ankh was a symbol of regeneration and the cycle of life. And when they would reach orgasm, they would ankh their sexual energy back up over their head, back into their body. They only spilled their seed, so to speak, right, when they were ready to pass on. You know, they kept that seed in them until they were ready to actually have a baby. Then they allowed the seed to leave their body. Their orgasms were internal. They didn't let no juice out, right? And because that was only when they were ready to give up this shell, this husk, and become, you know, and come into a new body. You know, and that's the story of, you know, Isis and Osiris, right? Her son. You know, that's because he released his energy in her, and then her son was actually him, right? Because that was one of the practices that they used. And I would love to hear, and nobody's going to because people are pussies, but I would love to hear some people's stories about, you know, maybe what they've experienced. You know, being astrally connected to other people in that way too. You know, like I said, nobody's got the balls to do that. But people want to tune out on me when I start talking about that. But whatever. Love is a key to healing. Reality is a consciousness hologram, and the soul enters to experience the duality of emotions, from the low of fear, panic, and anxiety to the ultimate high of love. In its many forms. Love is the key to freedom. In the duality of reality, love can hurt or heal. The best love for healing is balanced with compassion, acceptance, and understanding. Love comes and goes in one's lifetime, and it's all based on their programmed experience. And at the end of the day, not everyone is programmed to find or maintain love, but for most it happens and is wonderful. Love can be a catalyst to higher frequencies of consciousness. Like I was talking about Napoleon Hill, right? Talking about how males actually get a higher level of consciousness based on the successful female that they mate with. Our soul separates from its polar opposite when we come into the physical form. It spends its lifetime seeking love and trying to heal the pain of that separation until soul reunion. The emotional concept of love is connecting with twin flames. Romantic love can help us heal, but can be a temporary fix. If I have read depressed people who have fallen in love and function perfectly until the high wears off. After that, they return to their emotional issues. The depression that follows is sometimes deeper than before, and professional help should be sought at this time. And you know what? And that's honestly the fucking truth right there. You know, if you're not right and you fall in love, it's not going to last very long. You know, as soon as the new wears off, people go back to their fuckery. And I can tell you from experience, like I've met a person that was lonely when we met. And in the beginning, she was happy, excited, loved being with me. And then once she got back to being her unhappy self, she blamed me for her unhappiness, when totally forgetting that she was unhappy when we met. You know what I mean? Lonely when we met, depressed when we met. But that's how it works. Like, if you don't take care of you, then you have no business connecting to another person. You know? You just bring your problems into that relationship. You just bring your problems into that connection. And I've done it a million times, you know. Prime example, you know, drugs and things like that, you know. Having addictions and thinking that if I put myself in stable situations with stable people that I would stabilize. No, I didn't. I mean, I did until the new wore off, and then I'd self-sabotage. It wasn't until I learned stability on my own. It wasn't until I learned to heal my emotional issues on my own that I have found emotional stability, you know. And that's always going to be, you know, how it works. It's like if you're lonely, you know, on your own, you're going to eventually be lonely when you're with someone. And that's a bad feeling, too. If you've ever been lonely when you're with someone, I'm telling you, nothing sucks worse. You ever felt unwanted, unloved, and lonely when you have somebody laying right fucking next to you? You know? Ouch. Ouch, motherfucker. You know? At least when you're alone, you know, at least you feel like you have a reason for it. Tantra. Tantra is a name scholars gave to an interreligious spiritual movement that arose in medieval India in the 5th century, expressed in scriptures called tantras. The historical significance of the movement lies in the fact that it impacted every major Asian religion extant in the early medieval period, to Shaivism, Buddhism, Vaishnavism, Jainism, and developed tantric dimension. Every Islam in India was influenced by Tantra. The geographical impact of tantric ideas and practices spread far outside of India in Tibet, Nepal, China, Japan, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. And remember, Tantra too is someone's spiritual practice. So my Tantra is different than yours. It's not just about the way we fuck, right? It's like a lot of people think, oh, Tantra is, no, that's part of it. That's part of my expression of who I am. It's how I fuck, right? But it's not the only expression of who I am. It is my spiritual practice, my spiritual method, my unique individual religion of who I am. That's my Tantra. Today, it is Tibetan Buddhism and various forms of Hinduism. And yes, I did this when I said that. To show the strongest tantric influence, as well as the international postural yoga movement in most forms of American alternative spirituality grouped under the New Age rubric. While the doctrines of Tantra vary too widely to summarize briefly, one of the most salient features when compared with earlier forms of Indian religion is that the non-dual forms reject the renunciant values of classical yoga, offering instead a world-embracing vision of the whole of reality as a self-expression of a single, free, and joyous divine consciousness. You see what I'm saying? It's the whole of reality as the self-expression of a single, free, and joyous divine consciousness. For example, see the concept of the world as a divine play of Shiva and Shakti. The practical consequence of this view was that householders could aspire to spiritual liberation in the tantric system. Not only the monks, furthermore, since Tantra dissolved the false dichotomy of spiritual versus mundane, practitioners could entail every aspect of their daily lives into their spiritual growth process, seeking to realize the transcendent and the immanent. Tantric spiritual practices and rituals thus aim to bring about an inner realization of the truth that nothing exists that is not divine, bringing freedom from ignorance and from the cycle of suffering in that process. And think about it. You ritualize your entire fucking life. And if you're a deeply spiritual person, even having intercourse can become ritualized, There's certain techniques that you can make deeper connection with somebody on a conscious, level, right? When you're a spiritual cat, you know how to do those things. You know how to connect auric fields in a deeper, more meaningful way. You know different techniques to bring out higher frequency, higher vibration in that connection. So these methods, and they could also just be like release valves too for stress and anxiety. A lot of people use sexual intercourse, tantric practices for that as well. It's like, they have certain things they do to release, release the woes of the day, or release, tension, stress. And in those states too, altered consciousness, we can connect to the divine as well. So, and it's cool to connect with another person. Rather than a single coherent system, Tantra is an accumulation of practices and ideas characterized by ritual that seeks to access the supramundane through the mundane, identifying the microcosm with the macrocosm. The tantric practitioner seeks to use prana, an energy practice, sexual ritual, was employed as a way of entering, intensifying, and expanding awareness and dissolving mind-created boundaries. So like prolonging ejaculation, prolonging certain things makes that kundalini rise. Those frequencies rise. There are different practices, different schools of thought, different methods, if you will, that stimulate not just the body into orgasm, but to stimulate the consciousness into different altered frequencies or states of consciousness. Long training is generally required to master tantric methods, into which pupils are typically initiated by a guru. Yoga, including breathing techniques and postures, which, breathing allows us to control not only our blood flow and things like that, but when we release, right? So if we can control the oxygen level, that's why people like to be choked and things like that, because the cutting off of the oxygen allows them to, right? It's employed to subject the body to control the will. Now, mudras, or gestures, mantras, or syllables, words and phrases, mandalas and yantras, symbolic diagrams of the forces at work in the universe, are all used as aids for meditation and for the achievement of spiritual and magical power. During meditation, the initiate identifies with any of the numerous Hindu gods and goddesses, visualizes them, and internalizes them. Then a process likened to sexual courtship and consummation. The Tantrika or Tantric practitioners may use visualizations of deities, identifying with the deity so that the aspirant becomes the Ishta Deva or meditational deity. So you're identifying with specific deities to connect astrally when you're essentially consummating with the deity. So you hear like a lot of these stories of demigods and the Greeks, fucking Zeus and all that. It was very similar practices. Remember, the Greeks also went to, the pyramids of Egypt, and that's where all the stuff with Hermes and all that came about. So they were very versed in the mysteries. Okay. I don't even know if anybody's going to want to watch this one. It's like, it's like I'm not showing ass and titties on it, so it's like nobody cares, right? Twin flames. Reality is consciousness and light. A soul spark of light from that creation source. The illusion of physical reality is created by electromagnetic energy, polarity, duality, opposites, male, female, yin, yang. And when your soul enters physical reality, it splits in half, male and female, above and below, experiencing together simultaneously. Encoded in every soul is a need to reunite with that twin aspect, or to seek that energy out through a physical soulmate. The need to reconnect keeps us linked to the other side and knowing that oneness awaits. Physical reality is often referred to as in the box. When your polarities merge, your male and female aspects will move out of the box, igniting and creating union with your twin flame or twin aspect. As consciousness moves towards reunion, people miss their twin soul aspect and feel incomplete or abandoned, lost, and depressed. They cannot find themselves. A piece of themselves is always missing. They search in third dimension but never completely find it. If they are lucky, they find someone who comes close to making them feel whole. They want someone to love, share with them, and help them through this journey. While here, you can meet someone who acts as a catalyst, carrying the frequency of your twin flame, giving you the feeling of union while making love. The reunion of self. Blue electromagnetic energy of creation. Electromagnetic energy returns you to the source of creation or consciousness. The blue light of electricity, twin rays, twin rods, double helix, or yin yang. Guided by my twin flame, Zoroaster, who I called Z, I climbed the winding mountain alone, and yet never alone, as Z has been with me since the beginning. And the energies of the setting sun, oranges, pinks, and red, blending in a tapestry with the sky and the horizon, I lit a spiral lavender candle I had brought with me from New York. Z whispered, "Here I will prove to you that I am your twin flame." As he spoke, the candle began to burn, not just from the wick in the center, but from the wax on the right side. Before me were two flames burning brightly. I sat on the ground near and watched, my eyes filled with tears as I felt these energies merge with my own. A total union more profound than I had ever known. Sometime later, as the candle continued to burn, I grabbed my camcorder and recorded the moment. When it was time to descend, Z told me the candle would stop turning, which it did. I left it there from whomever it was to connect. You know what? And I would like to know how many of you can put this in the comments, feel like you have met your twin flame or your soulmate in life. I'm very interested to know. Very interested to know. I've had a few experiences. I thought I had met my twin a few years back. I moved, from home to be with this person. Had profound experience, and I guess that was not it. Then I thought the last person I was with was my person, and turns out they didn't give a shit about me. So it's like, do we ever truly meet that person in this lifetime, or is our twin something we reunite with after death? I have this feeling that, and I say this a lot, what's meant for you in life will never pass you by. So a lot of times people think, well, was that my person? Was that my twin? The one that got away? The one that got away, if they were actually your twin flame, if they were actually your soulmate, they would have never gotten away. If they did go away, they would have came back. A twin flame isn't going to be the person that cheats on you. Isn't going to be the person that, leaves you when you're down, or turns their back on you, or, hurts you, harms you. Twin flame is going to be somebody that loves you unconditionally. Somebody that's, and it's something, I feel like it's a connection that's usually known right from the rip, too. Any deep, profound love I've had or experienced, it was like I knew it instantly. From meeting the person or talking to the person, I knew it instantly. Like, this is someone I was meant to connect with, somebody I was polarized towards for a reason. Are these experiences meant to last the entirety of our life, or are they just meant to be chapters in a book of our life? Each chapter, a new person, a new flame. Or do some of us truly have? And you hear these stories too, where people have been married 40, 50 years and they're still passionately, massively in love, and it's like, wow, imagine that. How does a soul graduate to get that kind of love? Someone that loves you for you, someone that loves you unconditionally, someone that can look past your flaws and your mistakes, someone that can forgive your mess ups, someone that can see your heart, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they see past it. Someone that, is, they think you're beautiful, they're attracted to you, no matter what you're doing, how you look. Like, it's your essence they love. I was speaking to somebody earlier, it's like, are people even capable of that now? Are people, if you need a soul to love, if the heart's the seed of the soul, and you need a soul to love, all these people that have been jabbed and tagged and bagged by the system, do they even have a soul left to love with? Is that why it's so easy for them to, to turn cold? Is that why it's so easy for them to gaslight, and lie, and manipulate? To be so narcissistic towards others? Is that why? Because they're detached from soul, they don't have a living soul in them? Some people are there to teach both positive and negative lessons. Some are our brothers and sisters. You definitely need to solidify your own path first. I agree with that. I think that's absolutely true. If you don't solidify your own path, then how can you even begin to search for your twin? Or see your twin, or find your twin? You got to do you first. You got to love you first. You have to make yourself your focal point, your point of attraction first. That's self-love, self-respect first. We live in a world full of soulless NPCs. That's the harsh reality. Well, that's what I mean. Are these people that took the jab, do they have a soul? Are they able to love? Do they have compassion? I ask you that. I'd like to know. I genuinely loved the person that took it. I did. And I've loved people that haven't. But one thing that I have noticed in my experience is that people don't love the same way that I love. Not everybody is built with that, that empathy inside, or that like a real heart inside. And some people too, what's really fucking sad is people will try to convince you that your love isn't that either when they don't have it. You wouldn't say soulless, you say some choose not to do the inner work. Well, that's a thing. And doing that inner work, it's like I always take it personal. I do. I can't help it, but I take it personal in love. I do. It fucking stings, don't it? It stings like a motherfucker, don't it? It's like you take it personal. It's like your own personal failure when you can't make something work that you care about. When you really love someone, you want nothing more than to create a life with them and to have a partnership and a love with them. And when it fails or falls through, or that person stops loving you or decides they're no longer invested in that connection, it feels like a failure. It feels like a loss. It feels like the energy, the effort, the love you were putting in just wasn't good enough. It wasn't enough. When we really, we can't really look at it like that. We gotta look at it as if like it wasn't the right ingredients. My ingredients didn't mix with their ingredients. It doesn't always have to be someone's fault. But in our society, most people, that's what they do. It's like blame game and shit. And I've had so many people do that to me. Guilt the fuck out of me for my mistakes. And it's like, I was talking to somebody earlier too. I was having a very deep conversation about these things before I did today's video. How the last person I was with, for months, man, I carried around hardcore guilt. Hardcore guilt, guys. Like, guilt that I would cry about when I was alone. Like, it hurt me so bad that I let someone else down, or that I wasn't able to rise to the occasion and fix a situation or fix a connection or be enough or whatever. And it's like, truth being told, some people, just nobody will ever be enough for them. Some people, they're so broken on the inside, that's why the connections never work. Hindsight being 2020, you can look back at those things and see, but I was dragging guilt around, guys. I was dragging hardcore hurt around for months. To the point I was like, I was taking it out on myself even, You need to find someone who's on the same journey or truth you are. Yeah, well, I found that. I found people on this journey, and they were fucking crazier than the ones who weren't. Truth be told, Somebody who's got knowledge can be a lot more dangerous than somebody who doesn't. At least somebody you don't know about any of this stuff. They're like unknowingly fucking you up and fucking you over and hurting you. But somebody who is equipped, somebody who does know and does understand, they can do real fucking damage. Trust me. I've been around those types too. You know, those that know exactly how to perform psychic surgery on someone and have no problem doing so. And if you guys don't know what psychic surgery is, it's real. Very real. I project too. I think we all project. And you know what? That was a thing with insecurities, though. That was like something with me with insecurities. I had these insecurities where I would project my insecurities, my doubts, my worries, those type of things onto my partner. Or it would come out in me trying to control them or control the situation, you know, like this lack of control. And that stems from insecurity as well, you know. Sad to say, there's some people that I've been with that have never even met the real me. You know, because I was in such a fucked up place when I met them. You know. And I think I was talking about that to somebody earlier. It's like, I think like that was one of the big things I had guilt with. Like I dealt with a lot of guilt because, you know, I was with a person and they never got to meet the real me. You know, it's like I was at a healing place in life when I met them. I had no business even getting in a relationship, you know? And there's blowback, there's backdraft that comes off of you when you're healing. You know, I've been in some healing places and people have been caught in the crossfire. You know, especially with my drugs and shit like that. When I was trying to, get clean off of drugs, like that was really, really big blowback. You know, that hurt a lot of people that cared about me. Truly cared about me and loved me. And I was like, you deal with that, man. You see. And once you start seeing how your actions and shit directly affects another person, I'm telling you, it will change the way you fucking operate if you're a decent human being. If you see, like, hey, when I say this, it fucks this person up, or I do this, it fucks this person up, or you see the damage you've done to another person, you know, if you don't feel something, something's wrong with you. You know, you're a sociopath. Yeah, I've looked at Neville Goddard. I like Neville Goddard as well. And yes, I've created self-fulfilling prophecies as well. You know, where I've trust issues when I was younger. You know, oh, they'll cheat on me. Everybody's always cheated on me. And sure enough, you know, they fucking cheated on me. You know, self-fulfilling prophecies. From what I've experienced, you would suggest going into hermit alone. I am a Virgo. I go into hermit all the time. I am the hermit. You got the trust thing too. Yeah, the trust thing is legit. Well, you know what? I finally got it with a girl that I could actually trust. And I, you know, like I said, I fucked that up too. I was getting clean off of drugs. So I was like highly emotional and just, I had so many things going on, you know. And like I said, I've had to deal with those things. Everything I've been through, I've had to process that shit after the fact, and it's no fucking fun. It's no fun to sit down with yourself. And whenever you're in a relationship or a situation and you watch it go from something really good to something really bad, you know, you gotta look at yourself and be honest and ask yourself, like, what the fuck? What were my actions? What did I do? You know? How can I correct this? And sometimes you're not going to like the answers you get, you know. I am always trying to be the best version of myself, and I feel like I've become a very good version of myself. But it's like, as I've become a better version of myself, I've become incredibly protective over myself now. It's like I'm not just willing to like risk myself for anybody anymore, you know. once upon a time I'd see somebody damaged and fucked up and I wanted to go save them. I wanted to, I thought I could level them back into being good. Or I thought I could love them back to health. It's not true. Not so. All that ended up happening was I got sick too from their spiritual sickness. I got hurt too. They drugged me down with them. And sad to say, I've done it to others. I've had people that probably tried to love me back to health, and they got drugged down right with me. They got hurt right with me. They got let down right with me. Sometimes the best attitude is not giving a fuck. A lot of women are into that. Yeah, I know they are. Trust me, I don't give a fuck on a daily basis. Women sure love me. Seriously. But, one of the things that really worries me is, after being let down, after experiencing heartbreak, it's almost you can get accustomed to being detached. And that's just as scary. That's not good either. When we're so worried about experiencing hurt we experienced before, it's like having abandonment issues and shit, and you're worried when you care about someone they're going to throw you away or walk out on you or whatever, because whatever you dealt with in your life, it'll keep people from getting close to anyone. Or, someone that's been done dirty over and over, they know if they let their guard down, it's just going to happen again. It's that's why it's so important to work through that shit. Hey, brother. Nice to see you, man. It's nice to see everybody here, guys, honestly. Eric, I appreciate you. And I am happy alone. I won't say I don't get lonely from time to time. I do. I really do sometimes, I think about, people I miss, or, times in my life when I was happier or whatever. We all have those, fuck around with those memories in our head that can kind of take us back to, that place, But for the most part, I live a good life, and I feel like if you can't be good with your own company, then how can you expect anyone else to be good with it? I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. A soul spark in the wrong body. Many people do not identify with the body in which they are experiencing. It could beginner-oriented or something else, such as feeling one does not belong on planet Earth, but rather somewhere else. Often I tell women that they are male souls experiencing in a female body, which most seem to have already figured out. Sexually, they are either gay or in most cases address sex as a man would. Needing a good and long-lasting lover, many women have told me that they would not bother to have sex with a man who is inadequate in any sense of the word. Size is a consideration. They have no problems having many lovers. These women can easily take on a man's role in the workplace and are not necessarily wanting to raise a child. Many have female problems and lose the uterus early. As to personality, they vary greatly and are not necessarily controlling, but are strong. As for men, in female bodies, they are generally effeminate, yet not all are gay. Many are bi, transvestite, or transgender, and many have esoteric interests and are working on their issues. Holy shit. I promise I'm not a tranny just because I'm working on my issues, guys. That's very interesting. And a lot of people do feel like they're stuck in another body. They really do. A lot of people do. But we do have both masculine and feminine energy within us. So, it's horseshit to act like we don't. Phallicism in religious worship. Phallicism is the worship of the generative principle as symbolized by the sexual organs or the act of sexual intercourse. Although religious activities that involve sexuality or the symbolism of the male or female sex organs are sometimes called phallic cults, there is no evidence that any cult is preeminently phallic. The most important forms of sexual rituals are those in which intercourse is believed to promote fertility. Those that release a flood of creative energy, I'm sure that's what they release, by breaking boundaries and by returning to a culture to the state of primeval and powerful chaos. Example given, the orgy during New Year's festivals. Or those or those in which sexual intercourse symbolizes the bringing together of opposites. Example given, alchemy and tantrism, Hindu esoteric meditation system. In other traditions, objects of adoration are representations of sexual organs. Example given, the phallus born in Dionysian processions in Greece and Rome, the male lingam and female yoni in India, or deities with prominent genitals, Priapus in Greek. In these instances, the powers of creativity that the sexual organ represents, rather than the organ itself, are worshipped. And I worked as the engineering manager for a hotel chain back when I first started YouTube. And on New Year's Eve every year, we'd have a swingers club that would rent the whole hotel out and fuck all over the place. I mean, literally. You guys can still see on my Facebook, I've got pictures where we would have to post these signs that says clothes required beyond this point. It would just be all over the goddamn place. It was actually pretty wild. The spirit of Lilith is a hell of a thing. Yo, I've seen cultish behavior by people into some dark shit, but I've never been invited into a cult like that. So maybe I'm hanging out with the wrong fucking people, you know? Tantric healing. The word Tantra, Sanskrit, the sacred language of Hinduism, derives from the root word tan, which translates to extend, expand, spread, continue, spin out, weave, put forth, show, or manifest. Like the universe we inhabit, Tantra is continually expanding and manifesting itself like a cosmic weave made up of different energies. A cosmic weave. Cosmic league. We are part of this weave as our forefathers and foremothers. All life and every type of energy and matter. This includes thoughts, actions, and all physical matter. Because Tantra is a mystical subject, it is nearly impossible to define. Even eminent scholars have had a hard time explaining what Tantra actually is. The different explanations of Tantra indicate its multifaceted nature. Tantra is a spiritual science, which means it is also mystical in its interconnectedness. The holistic wisdom link between ourselves and the universe we inhabit. By embracing Tantra, we become more real, more complete. We recognize and stimulating our inherent sensual spirituality. We discover parts of ourselves that have remained asleep or have been repressed. With Tantra as energy is released, that is evolutionary and upwardly motivated, we can learn to use this energy for pleasure, for achieving our worldly goals, or, for aiding our spiritual evolution. And think about, Rosicrucianism and spiritual alchemy, right? The conversion of iron into gold. Tantra, very similar, right? That sacred secretion process, but instead using that energy, as part of creation. It's manifesting different things, magical purpose, right? Familiarity with Tantra can help a person enjoy their life to the fullest. It can help do away with guilt or fear, break down self-imposed or limiting cultural boundaries, and guide us in our search for solutions. Tantra teaches us to become familiar with our mystical nature, and when we do so, our boundaries expand. We enter into new domains of awareness, and we become empowered, more fulfilled, and more perfect. You know, I would be fucking super interested, you motherfucker. I would be very interested if there was someone out there that practices Tantra. Hit me up. I would definitely be interested to see, not to see, but to hear, more about it from somebody that, practices it, daily basis, or somebody that teaches it, a practitioner of, Tantra, somebody very familiar with it, definitely. And you guys have heard of like Kama Sutra and shit like that. Like, there are different variations through sexual positions that harvest or manifest different types of energies as well, Who do we have on the other day? Micah Dank, who was talking about, who do you say created a sexual position? Aleister Crowley. He was talking about Aleister Crowley created a sexual position. Go back and watch the video with Micah Dank. Oh, shit. I mean, but I would definitely be interested if somebody had some knowledge in this, would like want to come on the channel and talk about it or whatever. It would be very interesting, to say the least. God damn it. Jesus Christ, I cannot get this dirty bastard off my channel. The problem we have is everything is sex, not love. Well, yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily a problem. If that's all you're looking for. Let's keep it real. Most people in today's world are not looking for love. They're just looking for that release. It's like, it's a lot safer in that way when dealing with people, because, like I was saying, when we open up ourselves astrally or aurically to another person, we open ourselves up to attack. So it's best, for a lot of people to walk around detached and just fuck what they want to do and keep it moving, keep it detached and get what they need out of it and worry about themselves. And a lot of people stick to that code and do fairly well in life. But it's like, if you want some deeper connection, you're going to have to be vulnerable. Eventually you're going to have to be vulnerable. And that's what gets us. There are people who make a goddamn living. Excuse me. There are people who make a goddamn living off of finding, suckers like, you and me that are looking for love and are willing to open ourselves up so they can drag us through the mud. And a lot of people think they want love until they have it too. And then they see that it's actual work and effort and energy to keep and nurture the flame. Love is a fire, it's a flame. You have to give it oxygen and let it breathe. You have to give it space, give it room so it can grow. You have to fan the flame for passion. You have to tend to the fire, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to put in that energy and that effort. It's too hard, too much work. Too many people are too selfish to experience true love too. Think about that. Most people only care about themselves. They're not genuinely concerned on whether they please another person at all. They're not genuinely concerned on whether they make another person happy at all. They could care less. Truly. If somebody's happy as an indirect result of their action, then hell yeah. But they're not going to do anything extra. They expect their happiness to be handed to them by somebody, but they don't want to hand happiness to another. And that's the fucked up part of, our society now. Um, yeah, I've had some interesting experiences in life. I'm sure we all have. We all could probably tell a million stories of how we loved somebody that didn't love us back, or how we got with somebody that was fucked up and did us dirty. And I know I'm the bad guy in a few other people's stories as well. I'm sure you asked a few ex-girlfriends about me, that would say shit things. Um, I had somebody sabotage my goddamn love life and shit. I've had terrible through this shit. I was just talking to somebody earlier. I was like, literally, it's like I had their friends and everything messaging this person to try to make me look like a cheater or something. It was crazy. And then admitted to it. Somebody I'd never even met in my life. Trying to because when people see you happy and they're miserable, they want you to be miserable too. See, misery loves company. Sad to say, a lot of people will watch you, and we call it haters or whatever, but a lot of people will watch your every move in life just because they get enjoyment off of your suffering. They love to hate you. That's true right there. A lot of people are motivated by that, and that is weird. I have people, and you do too, trust me on this, you do. People that will watch your every move, just hoping to see you fall. And they rejoice when you fall. They rejoice when you hurt. They rejoice when you are sad. They rejoice when you lose. It makes them feel like they won because you lost. And a lot of times people are like that because they lack the quality, they lack the character that you have. They lack whatever it is that you have, or they think they do. Maybe they do. I had a total stranger recruit multiple people to come after a connection I had. Like, who does that? Who does that? And who helps a person do that? I feel like their friends are just as fucking pathetic. I'm gonna make this girl think he's he's doing all these things so she'll break up with him and I can have him. Like that ever works, And that's the thing. A lot of people want to sabotage you or sabotage your life because they either think that they can have what you have once it's been taken from you, or just want to keep you from having it. Like the way happiness looks on certain people. It's like, you're not suffering anymore. Let's make sure you're sad. Let's get you back suffering. And the same people when you're suffering, those are the people, it'll be okay, I'm here for you, I love you. And it's like, really, they're not. It just makes them feel good to feel like they're above you because you're down. We have sick people in this world, I'm telling you. Sick people. I run from people like that. They got snakes in their heads. They do have snakes in their heads. I didn't know it, man. I thought I was like, I was going through some shit. I thought I was confiding in a goddamn friend, and yeah. And they ruined my fucking life, But I always recover. I think they do too. Evil people can see our light and they want to extinguish it. So many people love to, not only stick the knife in your back, but they like to twist that motherfucker. They like to twist it. They want it to hurt good. Like, there's enough happiness for all of us. Like, you don't have to take someone else's happiness to get your own. I promise you. And the fact that someone's happy doesn't keep you from being happy. You've got bad mental issues if you feel like you need to come and disturb another person's happiness. Or to make them miserable so you feel good. You've got bad issues if that's you. Yo, I'm telling you, they were jealous. Shit, she was a good person. She was a good woman. Good girl. Beautiful. Very good to me. So, I mean, I'm like, that person wanted to destroy that for me. They got a big kick out of it. Because I wouldn't walk away from that person, to go be with them. So they thought, well, I'll just sabotage what he has with them. And, they did. But I just decided to be with nobody after that. It's like, well, I think what hurt worse was that the person I was with allowed them to sabotage it. It's like, well, maybe that wasn't meant to be after all. Because I feel like if a person would let another come between you, then something's wrong with that too. Or believe somebody over you, something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. It is truly a reflection of who they are. And, I kept that, to myself too. I was very private with that one. When I was going through that experience, I was not too long ago either. It's like I didn't even want to give that person that did it any satisfaction in knowing the heartache that they caused me. Do you know what I mean? You ever have somebody like really fuck your life up or fuck you over really bad? It's like you don't even want them to know, like the heartache they caused you, or you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm not telling nobody, how bad of a heartbreak this ended up causing, because I don't want the person to feel good about themselves for getting me hurt that bad. Or screwing, up my happiness that bad. It's like you don't want to give those people a satisfaction. You're not going to make people like that feel guilty or remorse for anything they do. Trust that, When they were doing it, they were already creating a reason of why you deserved it. Or why it was some noble thing that they were doing. How they were actually helping you or helping the other person or helping whoever by sabotaging you or harming you. We see that all the time. And we see it in fucking government and shit, right? They go to war and kill a bunch of people and make you think it's some noble goddamn cause. Nothing noble about that. They're murdering people. How many things have been done in the name of nobility? War on drugs, war on terror, or, A narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist. People that abuse and harm others are people that abuse and harm others. They just do it. They don't know anything but that. They can't generate that energy of self-love themselves, so they have to get energy from another source, another way. Those are the same type of motherfuckers who torture people to get that feeling of power and fear. Same people who drag fucking people's hearts to the mud to get that sense of being needed or in control or desired. It's like a sick fucking yuck. It makes me want to puke in my mouth when I think of people like that. The same people who will, jump into a person's life and see what kind of chaos they can cause and create. See if they can make a person fall. Or prove to here's another thing a lot of people do too, is like they want to prove that you're not as moral, Like a lot, one of the things they were saying, they were making these, posts about me, saying he thinks he's so smart. He's supposed to be a spiritual teacher and all this, which I've never called myself a spiritual teacher ever. You'll never hear me, I cuss like a fucking sailor. I fuck bitches. I drink, smoke, was a junkie. You know what I mean? You've never heard me act like I'm an angel. But that's the way they perceive people. And people will perceive you in a way, and the way they perceive you is the way they'll project you to others. Like, oh, well, he thinks he's so smart, or he thinks he's so good. I'll prove to him that he's not, or I'll prove to them that they're not. Yeah. Do I think any of these exes watch my stream? I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know if they do or they don't. I doubt it, though. If they do, that's on them. Yeah. I don't know. I think the people that hate me watch. Shit, I wish some of the people that I cared about watched. Maybe they would fucking, know a little bit more. But the people who don't like me definitely watch, so. Yeah, they do. You don't know how many people have fucking... That's what we got to go through some trials, some tests, some tribulations. Sometimes. We got to know what we don't want to know what we do. We got to see our weaknesses so we know how to protect what we care about in the future. There's nothing more powerful than love. There's nothing stronger than love. And love overcomes everything. And what's meant for you will never pass you by. Who truly loves you will always be in your life. They will find a way to you. They'll find a way back to you. They'll find a way. Love always finds a way. That's why it's the most powerful manifestation tool in the world. And that's why I always say, make yourself the focal point of your love. Love you and watch the rest of the world come to you. Watch the rest of life come to you. That's a true secret. That's a true key. I care about you, John. Well, thank you. I care about you, too. I love all of you guys. I appreciate all of you. You've done a lot for me over the years. And to the ones that have judged me and put me down and tried to sabotage my life and all that, you know what? I don't even care. I love them too. They need love more than anybody, it sounds like. And to the people I've lost because of that, I feel like, that was probably meant to happen, I guess, because if they were meant for me, they would be a part of my life today. So, but I am going to wrap it up. It's getting late. I've been going for a while here. I didn't really get to all the stuff I wanted to get to. But I'll probably do a part 2 or something. We'll get more into the sex magic aspect of all this. Please, please, please donate. PayPal, Cash App, Facebook Messenger Pay, Patreon, all that, man. Links in the description. Book a personal tarot reading, therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com, or text 513-393-2396. Reach out to me, say what's up, and check us out you know, all the other platforms. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.